Now we're delighted to introduce our last speaker of this year's Chief Conference, Dr. Zhang, the founder, chairman, CEO of Sohu Group.
Dr. Zhang graduated in MIT in 1993 with a PhD in experimental physics. He is currently a businessman, investor, and the current CEO of Sohu Incorporated. Sohu Incorporated is listed to trade on NASDAQ and now has employees worldwide.
Dr. Zhang is regarded as one of China's internet pioneers and was named by Forbes magazine as one of the richest men in China in 2010.
So let's now welcome Dr. Zhang to give his speech. Welcome.
Wait. Hello? Okay. Well, last time I was here about 6 years ago, it was a speech that I made in Chinese, and today I will speak in English. I hope I will express myself well. And I'm kind of, this is mostly Chinese students and also with some other friends. I'm kind of sympathetic with you because you're away from home, and I just fly from Beijing here a few days ago. But same time, I do envy you guys because you have fresh air, and this has become, breathing the fresh air is become a luxury, and I can show you the I'm tracking the air quality of Beijing every day, and I live on this, This is almost 200, means, whatever, how many, particles per cubic centimeter. Anyway, so it's really treasure the good time here and good air and really live a good life here. Today I'm going to, first of all, share with you the Sohu stories, and then I'll talk about the internet in China right now and also the future. Since as many of you as Chinese and probably heard or familiar to some extent to the Sohu story, I will really go fast. Actually, back about 20 years ago, I was 94, 95. I was just a student, just got my PhD, and thinking what to do. And I was in physics, but my advisor was David Lister, who is very computer proficient. So all these students at his lab has to use computers. So I used computers monitoring experiments and was able to browsing the internet using all those FTP, Telenet, all these early days, and Unix C shells. I see the coming of the internet is really something great. So I'm going to do it. I want to do something about it. And also as a as a students in this country for some years and not really do not have that much connection. I have limited resources in this country. And also I understood that the internet is such really a consumer thing. It means a lot of people. The more people, the better. So I had this idea. Okay, I'm going to do internet, and I'm going to do it in China. So it's these two ideas that actually so important that put me at the historical juncture in history, because the whole human beings are suddenly at the dawn of internet explosion, and that was 1994. And thanks to MIT, the campus network, and also, I was in Kendall Square in bookstores reading all kind of business books, and also other the entrepreneurial stories like Bill Gates and all these things, and also watching television, watching Vice President then A.O. Gore was talking about super information superhighway. That I was, have this idea. And it was so early that, okay, I just go to China. So at that time, going to China was such a crazy idea because, in the early 90s, and some of you probably still not in this world yet, right? And everyone coming to this country want to maybe, it's a great country, great opportunities. China was still in the early stage and we want to stay in this country. And I had this idea of going. Many of my friends here thinking I was crazy. And I'm not only, going back to China and doing something which fledgling, and, nobody believes it. So it was so early that I was lucky that I basically did many things the first in China. So arguably, basically, I went back to China, started internet in China. Okay, some people charge that, some people agree with me. Well, first of all, it's really not only at that time is setting up a company is such a new thing. So in the first really a venture or seed money based or venture capital based company and registered in Delaware. And I registered in Boston Common, but it's really a Delaware company. Still, up to this day, it caused us, some problem because if I'm going to get the Sohu company delisted from Nasdaq, it just takes more, less flexibility and more, problem than a Cayman listed company. So, but anyway, at that time, it's only the proper for our seed investors to have a company that registered as a Delaware company. And also, the ideas of venture capital, the starting up a company, and later the way to how to market the concept, the marketing. We have a lot of innovative marketing, and basically all these are really the first. But most importantly, that was in the years of 96, the first seed round, and 97, the whole year of 97. I was thinking, really what this internet is really about. So actually independently found out about this, internet is really not about, some new tools of carrying information, but it's really an open playing field where actually it's, hyperlinked that you should provide the navigation and really navigate people where to go. Because in the beginning, I went back to China and just to build a site, let's just build a site. And had a site, and then I put some, I was talking to 精品购物指南 or 中国青年报 or whatever, all these 小说月报, all this content and putting them in, and really it takes so much work and typing and some email. At that time, email was not readily used, and you have to have STP, MTP, and those kind of long prefix. And then there was some emerging, some ISPs in China. There's ISP means providing a dial-up service, and now you have broadband, 4G, everything, mobile phone. But at that time, people use a PC and dial-up, And then there's some ISPs and put some information about ISPs and what they are, where they're located. There's some information. There's like a dozen or 20 of them. So I list those ISPs there, the links. And found out that half of the hits every day, like about 500 hits a day. Probably only a few thousand internet users in China at that time, well, probably 10,000. And then find that 500 hits a day to our site called ITC. It's not Sohu. And then there's this half of the hits goes to those links. The 小说月报, 北京青年报, those content, people don't worry, people don't want to look at it. So that remind me, maybe I should do this. This is, takes such less, 事半功倍, So I think I realized, wow, I should do this. That's how, and exactly at that time, I had a friend, my American friend who gave me a book called The First 1,000 Days of Internet. And on that book, there's like many chapters, and one chapter describing Yahoo. So wow, I read Yahoo. I said, hey, this is what I'm doing. This kind of navigation, building directories. So I was introduced by my investor, Negroponte and Ed Roberts and others, to go to went to the U.S. To meet Jerry Yang. So that's in '97. And I'm doing the same thing. So a year later, Intel invested in us, and Yahoo wants to go to China. And at that time, ITC already changed its name because ITC is called Internet Technologies China. Because I just want to do internet technologies, I don't know what to do. But after a year of search and writing business plans, I realized I should do something navigational and search. And then I had come up with the idea of Sohu, search, right? Sohu, search fox. So basically the first directory and navigational service, and actually arguably search engine, first search engine in China. And in '98, when we launched the Sohu, and Jerry come try to acquire us, and I decided not to because I think, well, I can do it here myself in China. You don't know China as much as I do. I should, why should I be acquired by you? So basically, that launched the story of So basically, that's the early story how this Sohu was founded, and was lucky to be the first in venture capital company backed first venture capital company, and first company who built a really Western style company with a board governance and Delaware registered and management, and also the first company that really get the essence of the internet, which is about search and navigation. Of course, later we. It was not ready to do the kind of a search because the internet, the connection was not good. So we developed into a portal to put a lot of content on the same server where people can come to. That's a later story. So these are the early stories that how Sohu was founded and how it was developed. Later, I think. You gave it. All right. Am I expressing myself clearly? Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So actually, first time for me to speak in English without without a PowerPoint, and so this is being able to do these become the. And also, you may know that later we did a lot of innovative marketing, including mountain climbing, doing all kind of things to make the Sohu brand become a household name. And the company was listed, on the first one of the first companies listed on the Nasdaq. And then there was definitely later there was lessons and the success and failures because we were the first ones that did search and navigation, but later Baidu got the opportunity to really make it big. And also social network, we also failed, and also other things. We are always the first, and actually have a lot of. There's lessons in Sohu's history that I think, in retrospect, to summarize, basically, I think I would just become famous too early, and because I was so I was marketing so actually to tell you the truth, I was one of my idol. It actually was in 1980s was Donald Trump actually. And for you guys who were in the U.S. in the late 1990s, late 1980s, he was really famous. But famous, not in the really. But one of the book he wrote was The Art of Deal, where I read and because as a Chinese coming to this country, I think everyone wants to be successful and rich, become super rich, make money. So the Donald Trump, The Art of Deal, the book really become so I enjoyed the book so much. So I watching Donald Trump all these years, and one of the famous quotes remarks he said is good publicity is better than bad publicity. But bad publicity is better than no publicity. That's a famous quote of Donald Trump. And also, I learned I watched several presidential campaigns, and especially the Dukakis and Bush, right? Yeah. So I learned that although the Bush was a grew up in a really wealthy family with politicians in the history, but he described himself as a kind of folk hero. Well, Dukakis was a low actually ordinary grown up, but went to Harvard and was depicted as something of an elite. And that's how Bush beat Dukakis. So that's I learned that actually, what you are is not important. What other people perceived what you are more important. So these things I learned. So because although I was trained as a physicist and from MIT as an engineer doing experimental physics, I become so good at marketing. So. And dealing with the media. So, and then that turned myself to be very famous and become the internet poster boy in China. Probably more famous than Jerry Yang in this country at that time. that really got into my head. So I kind of, as I said, I became too famous too early. So that in my management, I spent too much time in marketing and dealing with media. There's a book called Built to Last, right? You probably know that book. So, I think Collins, right? Collins wrote the book. And 基业长青. So about good company, bad company. So in the early days, we were really successful in marketing, but I spent too little time in product and engineering. That was a problem, Sohu, that we are at first in many things, in search, in portal, in all these things, but we didn't carry it through and become successful to ultimately to be succeed in that direction. So these are compared with my 小老弟, Pony Ma, who was was inspired by one of the speech when I visited Shenzhen. He went back to start a company. So, but he focused, all his time on technology and product. So that's how where Tencent and WeChat is today. So. That was '98 when I was giving a speech in Shenzhen and was treated like a rock star and on the stage, and when Pony was in the audience. I hope one of you guys will build another WeChat in China. So that's the lesson that I learned, and also that's the. So I think for a company to be successful, especially internet company, the key is I think many CEOs or you have to look at the time spent every day, how much time you spend on product and technology. That's very critical. And not only time spent, but also you're really concerned. You care for. When you care for something, then you think you are not you're warm to the idea, and you tend to think more and not to get not how to say, you just not get into this idea thinking. So it's important to really spend enough time and enough interest or enthusiasm in things you do. And then your company will be shaped in that direction. So I was so enthusiastic about marketing and PR and all this brand building. So Sohu in the early days become a marketing company, a brand building company, but not a technology and product company. Well, Tencent, you basically become a product company. That's how they really build successful products, and QQ and WeChat later, So that's a lesson. So that's why after after 2000 last few years I rested for a few years and now come back to management and then really turn the company into a engineering company. So so it's good that we're so early and enough time to make some mistakes, and up to now, although we are kind of not marginalized, but really not as in the heart, a company as we were like 10 years ago. But we are still have a good foundation that is still probably there's a possibility that we will enact a second act, chapter 2 of Sohu. Maybe we'll come back at the center stage, and that's what my determination to do that. So the current businesses we have, because of the early so early that we've been able to actually lay the good some good position in each of the fields. We cover 4 areas. One is really the media news. Second one is the video, and on the video it's actually with a brand broadband and 4G and all this mobile phone, everything. There's a lot of innovation happening in the video area, like YouTube type of services, or the live broadcast, the Periscope, equivalent, and all these virtual reality, everything. And the third area is search. I never give up search. So we had a great innovation called the 搜狗拼音 method. Because actually it's almost like a Google, because you're actually using the search intelligence to guide you to input. So actually collecting the collective data of users and guess probably the most accurate words you're trying to input type. So 搜狗拼音输入法 is widely one of the top 3, one of the third most widely used app in China now. And based on that, we have launched Sogo Search. So Search, we are now the second largest search engine after Baidu. So I still have this revenge. I want to get it back. Okay, but still a distant second. So we want to close in the gap. And Baidu has some problems these days. But we have a better technology, a better team, and the management, and most importantly, we just have a higher moral ground. Yeah, it is. We have been always Sohu has always been a company of high principles, and including we fight piracy. Basically we launched myself and we launched the 2 war on piracy. The first one is 2009, and basically it completely turned a Youku was previously a pirate sites into legal sites. And then in the 2013, we also led the second war, and this time with Youku as our allies, and also Tencent Video. And now the second time, our enemy or our opponent is Baidu Yingyin and Kuaibo. So. And we won again. Great victory on the second war on piracy, and that's how laid the foundation. Nowadays, you guys can have all these good content with legal content, and also China's entertainment industry has been just blossomed because now people can make some video dramas or and then make some money. So actually becoming, there's just making too much money. We spend too much money buying a TV drama. Like we spend on average 80 million RMB per drama nowadays in China. So including like, 欢乐颂 的第二季 the second, so the joy to the 欢乐颂 the second the sequel of 欢乐颂 I shared I called the Pony and we should share the prize. We shouldn't give all the money to those producers and those people. All those actors and actresses are making so much money, and it's unfair. Where our advertising not covering. So we have some price fix, but still, altogether with 4 or 5 video sites, we spend probably, I think, 10 million per episode. It's about 500 million a piece. 欢乐颂 alone, 500 million. So that's crazy. So it's not a business model that can last. But the BATs, all these, they have deep pockets and just want to outspend us, anyone else, and competing. So Jack and the Pony are competing on all these big, 好声音 and all these videos. Anyway, but it's not going to be a future. So we now choose to, produce some other, our own self-produced. And I'm not going to pay all these actors so much money because there's TV stations are so lazy. They just want to make mistakes. They want to 向领导交代. So they just pick the most expensive, most famous, like Zhao Liying or whatever, and they just pay them. Okay. So even it's a failure, even it's not a lot of audience, they say, hey, I made the right thing because I choose the most famous actor or actress. I use the most expensive team. Why? Well, each province they have money, so the government has money, so that's why. So we're not going to that direction. So we produce some of our own content, and with like only 30 million a piece. So the latest one that we achieved great success is 法医秦明. I don't know whether you've seen it. So this video back to, so basically, because of the 2 wars on piracy, all these things become possible. The video industry now become an industry instead of a pirated, just a field. And so video and search, Sogo, and also Changyou is also our cash cow. We had also a success as one of the leading, top 3 online gaming company back starting from 2003 to 2004. With Shengda, Changyou, and Dinglei's, NetEase, yeah, exactly. So So that's so we have a good, we have good assets and properties, and and also we have money because on gaming generating money, the video are spending our money, and the search is okay, and the media it's great, it's a ground for innovation. So we are ready. So basically, the second act, and I'm determined to really get back and really to make Soho great again. So if you look at the China's internet, it's more and more similar to what happened in this country, in the U.S. We're still talking about the biggest companies like a search company or a social network companies, social media, social network, and news media and anything. So search, social media, especially social media, is very important. But we're talking. It's when you heard about it, it's not much different from 10 years ago, like 2005 or 6. It was talking about Facebook at that time and Google, everything. But when we talk about the same name. Words like social media, it's actually means totally different things. Because compared with 10 years ago, I think the most important thing happening is really the mobile phone, where you have like 10 times more time to have to be online. Then 10 years ago, you have only like 2 hours when you happen to be by your PC. At that time, even laptop was not so popular. So first of all, the time of connection, and the duration and the frequency, and so it's always and also the bandwidth. You have like 4G and also Wi-Fi everywhere, and also the social network becomes such a ubiquitous thing that everywhere, always and all the time. So for the first time, I think. And also, because of bandwidth on social network, the kind of content form is just different. Because at that time, you only have text or some pictures. It takes time to download. But now it's text, the pictures, and also video, and also not only VOD or not only video, but also live. And also the VR, there's like in the future it's going to be so, and whether this person is here or not, it doesn't matter because it just looks like he's here. Because of VR and virtual reality. So when we talk about social network today, it means different things. Actually for the first time, I think we achieved so-called always on, right? At that time, you find someone, you send an email, you wait for a day or half a day, a few hours, you got email back. But now you just WeChat or you just Facebook or whatever. So people are always on, and when people are on, and you achieve the instantaneous, instant thing. And when they are on, it's a high bandwidth communication. So I call it high touch internet, so that the humans are just like a big party, 24 hours and ending. Except unless you're in sleep, you don't parties. But when you wake up, you join the party, right? When you wake up, first thing you look at your phone, mobile phone, and check your WeChat, and see who is on and sending some messages and maybe So it's like when you wake up, you join the party. When you go to sleep, you just left the party. So it's always on a big party. And the big party will continue, especially with virtual reality. That, as one, whether you are here in this room or not in this room, it actually doesn't matter. Because you feel like you are in this room. So this is going to be the future. And because of this always on, actually, no matter either business or life, there's a book written by Bill Gates called Business at the Speed of Thoughts, right? I don't know whether you read that book or heard about that book. Business at the speed of thoughts. So now we actually can have the world evolving at the speed of thoughts. In Chinese, 想到哪儿就可以马上实现，一个想法马上就可以实现。所以 it's so suddenly knowledge basically just suddenly much faster and knowledge explosion, and actually it's a singularity. a singularity that it goes up like that. It's a blow up, right? It's a delta function, and but it has been blowing up in the last 10,000 years, but it's just accelerating in the last 20 years or 10 years and last 5 years, and it will continue to accelerate. So. And then for our human beings, we feel that it's just so fast, so much faster. But it has been accelerating over the last 10,000 years. But because our lifespan is not accelerating, not being lifespan is not longer at that speed. So we feel like that it's a matter of 10 years. There's so many things already happened, and in the future will even more so. And it's give us actually hope and optimism, because many things in our lifetime will happen. And you really don't know. If you look at the last 10 years, it's like that. You still looks like you were. But in next 10 years, you probably won't imagine what things will happen, because business will be developed at the speed of thoughts. You have an idea, someone will immediately have it, and someone will have some input, and you have it, and then boom. And one thing in the health area, probably we are going to live forever. Because it was according to one report, someone said that someone at a venture capital of Google, there's Google arm venture capital, said that by 2029, I think humans will live forever, right? The aging, death, cancer, everything will be dealt with. All right, that should give us optimism, right? We shall, especially you guys, you have many years to live for. And not only that, after that, you still can live for another 100 years. So we should be optimistic. And so this is what, the internet in China, and it's continued to be the second act and chapter 2 of China, internet, and this high-touch internet. It's not the end of the story. It's just the beginning of the second chapter, and a lot of innovation, lots of things that are happening, and a lot of things need to be done. And we are doing it. So for a few words about Sohu. So we basically have the Sohu News, where it's actually when people are always on, and we need to make sure where people are, and people mostly are on the social network, or you're on your WeChat or Weibo, or you're probably only once one or two times or a few times browsing our Sohu News, and we need to make sure that. First of all, we need to, if you're browsing our Sohu News, we just need to have a more, intelligence, more artificial intelligence, machine intelligence to organize the information to, provide you tailor-made individual news that you care for. So how to organize the information to the stream. We're talking about the news stream to provide you with the most news or information you care for. You care for, not another person, because of the big data, and we know you much better than before. And also, we also care about your behavior and where you spend most of your time on the internet. And now it's basically, I probably spend most of your time on social network. So for Sohu to be successful and to really have this big revenge and comeback, and we really need to make not only search engine but social network. So we're launching our we failed again. Actually, I'm a big believer of social network. Even back in the early days of 1999, right after at the dawn of Sohu IPO, I immediately acquired a China Ren. As my commitment to social network, to message boards and the community, which I believe many to many is the essence of the internet. mathematically it's just more exponential than the one-to-one broadcasting or kind of news service. So, but we failed. We tried again and failed, and the blogs and this Weibo, microblog, everything. And now we want to come back again. And if Sohu want to be successful and to have that kind of scale, we have to make it successful in social media. So we're launching our own social media because that's where people, everyone is, partnering. Everyone is, if you talk about where people's eyeballs are, they're actually always on the social network, right? So we need to make sure that, and also that's where we feed them information, and also we care about what kind of information, who generates the information. So social network user generated information, but people care for a lot of quality information, especially video. So and also some quality articles. So we now completely revolution or changed the previous editors in edited content, and now actually in WeChat it's 公众号, right? The public accounts, and so we also organize hundreds of thousands of 公众号. Let some kind of big V or some kind of authors who have some credibility to write things. So who generates this? So the model can be called little n to big N, 小 n 到大 n 模式. It's, like YouTube is 小 n 到大 n, right? And also the media service is 小 n 到 n. It's like 100,000 author serving 100 million people. So that's kind of 小 n 到大 n. So that's kind of thing we need to make it work. And for video, besides the head content we purchase, it's like a television station. We need to turn it into a Netflix model. We produce and we charge for subscription. So Netflix and Hulu model, but advertising will not cover it. But Netflix model is the way to go because China, you never shy of users. You have users. If every user pay, then you can make money. So the video, that's the way to go. And also the internet, it's like a traditional cable industry or HBO or now the Netflix, but it's not truly internet. It's true internet is really like YouTube or now the live broadcast where actually 小 n 对大 n. So that's on the video side, we're also having that directions. And actually, Sohu has its own live broadcast called 千帆直播. It's one of the many live broadcast, Periscope-like services in China. And actually, in order to improve my English, I start a program on 千帆直播. Every morning at 9 o'clock, I broadcast international news with with English. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be 8 p.m. every day here in Cambridge. So you're welcome to turn in my show. And every morning I tell the Chinese audience, what's going on in the world, factual reporting. No, no 辩证法一分为二 whatever 说这说那 just fact reporting what's going on, but so that's in English, but I have a bilingual. I translate. Okay, what's the time? 时间怎么样? Okay, all right. So this is, and also using our own software, try to have a feel, what should we do? I think the 直播业, like live broadcast, is going to revolutionize education and knowledge learning. Because it's all so much like a classroom. In the future, we're going to have 连麦, like the microphone, so any audience can share the same screen, and also we can draw graphs or put a picture up, so that when you live broadcast, because nowadays it's the broadcast. It's all about the beauties, right? The girls, right? That's kind of 秀场模式. That's a unique Chinese characteristics. All these, because the rich and the poor, the gap is so huge that all these, the kids of the rich, tycoons, all these, officials or whatever, they have nothing to do but, chasing girls. And where do they do that? They go to a live broadcast. They throw big, gifts of like hundreds of dollars or even 10,000 RMB or even some 1 million RMB, those kind, to through the money to these girls. So that's actually the back, the behind, the engine, the drive, this live. But in the future, I think it's going to be more on learning education, where you have actually value broadcast. That's what I'm doing now to teach English, with some. I think it's going to revolutionize learning and education, because when we have like 100 teachers every week to live broadcast, then the audience, people will decide what I'm going to learn from which teacher. So you don't have to register the school. You just the whole barriers were just completely gone, and so that I am very hopeful this is going to be good, because there's a big problem with China's education system. Well, big problem with everything. So not just the education. So these are, and the search is something will continue, but it's more like intelligence will provide, because people are dividing their time into more different apps. So search, instead of before, search was like basically a PC-based H5 browsing, going to sites. But now with app, people using different app, and search more become like your teacher or your doctor. Anything you ask a question, search will give you, and give you exactly what you want to know. So search has to define itself. In the beginning, it was a navigational service, and browsing the internet help you to browse and to go to different sites. Now, with the app and mobile phones, I think it's more like a doctor, or you're a very knowledgeable person who answer your questions. So that's where it takes a lot of software power and artificial intelligence. I think that's the 2 or 3 directions of the internet now. Is first of all, on one direction, it's the machine becomes so much faster and so much intelligent that it will answer you anything you want to know. And another direction is really continue the social network with high bandwidth, high touch social network where people are enjoying big parties, and also the video applications. And these are the directions, and the virtual reality. These are the directions of the nowadays internet. So this is about and also online gaming. So now because mobile game, 游戏畅游. So we have 天龙八部, our mobile. It's going to be on in collaboration with Tencent on March. So this is about Sohu, and then I want to talk about the current situation a little bit about China. I think in terms of media, we actually shy away from, we don't do e-commerce, and let Jack Ma do that. I never regretted, I never intended to do e-commerce, because I don't want to move, brick and mortars. I just want to do something on the information sphere. Has been always. In this information sphere, I think I see a big divide in China, where people, younger people, or like, after 1970s or 80s or millennials or 90s, people are mostly basically stopped watching television, because television was really too much, propaganda and too much censor and regulated, and not much choices. So young people in China, they just become so, so good at the internet. On the internet, you have so many tools to get the information, and because of social network, the collective wisdom of the capability of dissolving, consuming information becomes so much powerful that I use the word 颗粒度, fine granularity, right? Granularity, that's the word, right? Granularity. So the 颗粒度 of the nowadays society in China is much finer than even a few years ago. So any events, anything, any information, the society can collectively dissolve it into small, parts and understand it. So the society become much more sophisticated in understanding things and dissolving this, high granularity. I talk about high touch, and now I talk about fine granularity instead of coarse, granularity. That's a phenomenon that the younger generation. So because basically the society become the older generation, like people who born in China. In this country, different. In this country, older people can be very progressive, right? Because in the U.S. you have basically gradual, development of the society, but in China, it's over the last 70 years we experienced a century or something. So many things happened. so that if depend on what year you were born, your mind are very different. It's because you can be brainwashed during years of your growing up. So that's why if you talk about what age group is very important, such an important key dimension in China. Now in this country, like the two 70-year-old, Hillary and Donald, they're still running president and saying things that very progressive and very updates, very latest. But in China, it's really age is such a big factor. I think I see the big divide. Basically, the younger generation becomes so much more sophisticated and so understand things, and the older generation continue to be fool, continue to be so stupid. So, so this is a big thing, big divide. That's what I see. But I think I always believe that this it's always mutually influential. Mutually influence each other, right? Because in the same family you have parents, grandparents, and your kids. So there's learning each other. So I think I don't worry about this. I think I'm very hopeful. Although we have so many problems with smog, with all these problems, the rich and poor gap, and all this, younger generation, young people who just cannot find job. Even they find a job with their wages, they cannot support themselves because of the price, the housing price or the rents are just so high that they couldn't live in the big cities. So there's basically not much opportunity for young people in China. But I'm still very hopeful and optimistic because I think the internet revolution basically just get people smarter and have more common language, and then when people are smarter, they will learn how to solve problems. So I think there's not only China, there's global issues with, but because there's even this presidential election and you can say that democracy is good, but sometimes it somehow cost or some whatever. There's a lot of separation or globalism or whatever. So, but in general trend is because of the information revolution. I think the world just becomes smaller, right? You just understand so much. There's like even China U.S. relation. People are sitting here, you understand each other. So I think the world is becoming smaller. Not only the transportation, the Boeing 747 or Boeing Airbus 380, or the fast the railways, but also most importantly the internet really instantly get people moving people. So the world becomes smaller because cultures of peoples are learning each other so fast, and also the language translation software is going to be more powerful. So there will be no language barrier in the future. So I think this world becomes smaller, people become smarter. I think people will have this collective intelligence to resolve a lot of things and a lot of issues, including this, it's either democracy versus dictatorship, either global warming and the environment, and poverty and equality and respect and human, and also. So I think, generally speaking, I think it's the internet. It's going to save the world and makes the the world better, a better place. And with this, we're going to live forever. The world will become better, and there will be some hurdles on the road, but it's going to be good. So what should we do? As a young person, in your 20s or 30s, what are you going to do? I think growing up China, there's a problem because I think the humans are different from animals because we have spirit, right? We like 2.5 million years ago, we came down from the trees, And then, 3 minutes. Okay, good. We came down from the trees and we become hunter-gatherers, and we eat meat and we chase animals. So our brain grow, not only the lower part of the brain, of the animal brain, but also the prefrontal cortex and all this upper side. So we become human, the Homo sapien become humans. And humans, actually the upper side actually expand 3 times compared with 2.2 million years ago, the capacity, the volume of the brain. And so humans are different from animals, that we have spirit, we have values, we have principles, we believe in something and we keep doing it. So that is very important. But the values are always important. In the past, it takes the form of religion, right? Now, a lot of people are not religious, but you still need the values, or it's actually extension of religions to some values. But the problem with Chinese, this generation, we grow up, myself, grew up during the Cultural Revolution, and then grew up, went to college in the 1980s, and then there seems not many other things you need to do, because the only thing, because China has been poor during the Cultural Revolution, and every family cannot make ends meet. Suddenly, making money becomes such a popular thing in the fashion. So the value of making money and become rich and successful, and as successful, has lots of money, fast cars and a quick woman, whatever. Anyway, so that's kind of basically the value that has been for Chinese, this generation. But I would say, only want to make money and be successful, that value is too low. That is a problem in China, that 拜金主义. So what I say that, last minute, I run out of time. So last word I would say, if you as a young person, I know as a Chinese culture of Confucius that you want to be successful, you want to make your parents proud, you will become somebody, 出人头地. But I think 出人头地和成功赚钱这件事情，这个价值观太低了. It's a principle is too low. I think you choose. You may not choose to be, save the world, or you want to be, a philanthropist, or you want to join the Peace Corps, you want to go to Syria or whatever. No, I'm not asking you to do that. All right, I'm just saying that it's neutral. It's anything you choose to do something, it becomes a duty and an obligation. You do it well. If you build a company, you really do it well. If you to serve, if you just a job. It's as a person, as a human, you just need to be. Have respect. You are proud of, you are equal to the duty you choose or happen to choose, or fate or whatever assigned to you. It's a duty. If you're a soldier and you march forward and you need to die, you die. But you die because that's your duty to die, right? So I think as a person, I think the important thing is not just to be successful and make money, because that one is too low. And nowadays, with that only making money, cannot support the whole China dream. It's too low. So that's if you ask me advice to you as life, as life goes on and what the future, I think everyone should choose, you decide what you do and in your life. And really do it. It's a duty. No matter whatever the difficulties or the risks or the anxieties, anything, just keep doing it, because it's your duty. It's the most important thing in your life, to do it well. And it's more important than life itself, than living itself. So that's last word. So much for my speech. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zhang. And for the time limits, now it's a Q&A time, but we only can accept 3 questions. So take your time. And you can also ask in Chinese. That's welcomed as well.
I think we can let Dr. Zhang to choose one audience to ask.
Hello， 你好，张朝阳先生。因为我对这个问题更多是关注在于搜狐上面，因为您刚才提到搜狐的有提到搜索引擎，有提到新的视频， 还有提到最新的输入法，还有您说的直播。但是我想知道，作为搜狐的另外一块，就是说 online ad sell 这一块的话，
什么
？online ad sell 就说您的广告销售。但这部分我不好意思，但是我想听一下您这方面对于我想听一下您的 guidance 大概怎么样的。谢谢。
广告销售是吧？
对。
广告销售现在就是大数据，现在终于我们能够把那个门户那个新闻的那个广告商跟我们的那个很多企业中小企业跟我们的那些用户能够 match together， 需要用大数据。这个大数据跟那个提供内容的那个引擎是一样的，能够matching the content with the user， 现在也是 matching the advertiser with the user。这样的话呢，使得能够准确的知道，包括这个 matching 的 technology 不只是在这个新闻这块，而且在 video 这块也有我们的这个 advertising system， 所以这个方面正在发展，而且走得非常前。现在 ，Yep， 你来决定。
他在举手。我也想问一个问题，不好意思大家，就其实是刚才提到了关于教育类的直播问题，然后我也是就是哈佛教育学院的，然后就是特别好奇，就是您对于视频或者是直播类的未来的一个前景看法，就是您是更注重 entertaining 的 part， 还是更注重它的 content of deep sight and value it try to convey， 就是它其中想传达的价值观和它的其中的内容，还是更重要是它娱乐性更强，这样可以吸引更多的观众。就是您是怎么看待这个事情？
这个 video 在中国现在确实很多创新都在 video 领域。那么除了这种大型的头部剧的内容，这个是走不下去的，一定是会走这个Netflix 模式，就是收费模式。所以像这种娱乐类的故事片啊，都是走这个收费的 Netflix 模式。然后其他的像 YouTube 模式的话，就这种知识类的各种各样的东西呢，也是会很兴盛的。然后直播的教育也是另外一个领域，所以现在就是这几个领域 ：YouTube 模式、Netflix、YouTube 和这个 Live Periscope 这几个模式，当然 Snapchat whatever。So 这些从模式创新上是这样的。至于那个内容方面的话，比如说YouTube 模式的话，就是会更多的是一个这种各种 knowledge 各个领域的这个知识比如说那个现在你看搜狐 PGC 方面，搜狐自媒体上有各种各样的教你这个教你那个的，教你跑步的，教你跳舞的，教你做饭的，教你美容的，教你各种东西的，所以各种这种是知识类的。然后呢，这个直播呢，我觉得直接的影响就是教育。至于这个，所以这两个类是这样知识的传播。至于那个主要的 Netflix 模式，还主要是娱乐。
谢谢。那您可以再选一个问题。
OK， 你说吧。
就特别认同您刚才说的这个价值观的问题，这我觉得中国最大的一个问题。然后我就是各种看一些视频，知道您可能是有练瑜伽和冥想，是吗？就是我自己也是有练瑜伽和冥想，我想就或许你说一下关于你对这件事情的看法，可能对在座的年轻人会有一些帮助。
我其实瑜伽做的不多的，因为可能就是屌丝男士或者是煎饼侠里边客串了一下，以为我练瑜伽，但是我就是其实练的不多，但是我做的以前最多的是登雪山 ，mountain climbing。I climbed like 10 mountains in China。那么后来就好几年不登了，最近又登了一座雪山。然后另外呢，就是最近跑步跑了2年，running，这个跑步跑了不少。我去年跑了2000 kilometers，2000。关于冥想的话，我确实也是自己在反思的过程中，这几年的话也是尝试了meditation，especially 观呼吸，所以我觉得还挺好的。它有点跟气功有点像，就是just watch your breathing and then see the flow and really 当你那个沉静下来之后，那个气流变得非常的平顺。像2个层流似的，刚开始会非常的这个毛刺式的这种东西，这样一种，它会对身体很好的。
So apologize for this unprofessional MC, and we can have one last question from the audience. Okay, so this lady here.
So we all know that right now in China, the internet user do not have the access to Facebook, to YouTube, or to like other media. So if one day we do, like, how will it affect Soho? And I was wondering, have you done anything to protect your business?
这个是那个我的 the least concern of my concern over the years。因为其实，在历史上，那个早期呢，其实Microsoft 微软呢，Microsoft 那个 Yahoo 啊，包括后来 Google 都当时中国政府都是允许他们在中国做的，但是他们都是失败的很惨，包括那个雅虎在中国尝试了好多方式，先是收购了3721，又后来又收购了又那个收购了阿里那个就是阿里又买了他的中国的 operation， 然后都是 fail 的。所以说，这个当时的 failure 呢，那个不是因为就说中国政府限制，而是就因为这些 multinationals 在中国它是一个 branch operation， 而不是一个 entrepreneur company。那么它跟中国那么多的 entrepreneur company 竞争的话，它是肯定是竞争不过的。所以说，对于这些 multinational， 如果是任何时候中国政府放进来的话，其实我根本不担心，他们不会竞争过我们的，根本就不可能的。包括像那个 Amazon 在中国也是很失败嘛，都是很失败的。所以这个不是因为限制，而就是因为这个。它的这个一个结构的 organizational structure 的这种 nature, it's like a genetic of the organization is different.
Thank you. Thank you. So, because of Dr. Zhang will have other arrangements, so we cannot allow the audience to have any other interviews or pictures now. So thank you all for your attendance today. And this is a very informative and productive weekend. We hope you all enjoy this year's MIT Chief Annual Conference and enjoy our wonderful speeches, panels, and contests.
And please join us for another round of applause to our honorable speakers, guests, and contest participants.
I guess nobody cares about you.
Yeah, thank you all for coming.
Also, a great thanks to MIT and all our sponsors this year, and all the staffs who work days and nights to prepare for this event. Thank you all for your work.
Thank you all for the staffs. And most importantly, thank you all for joining us this year in this year's conference. And thanks for coming. See you next year.
See you next year.